Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today I'm going to continue working on LearnBook in the part we've just left off with yesterday. First, talking about a problem that I managed to get fixed, and then looking at how I can make people go from messages field. I want to finish that feature where if I start typing a message, then I can click on the plus and do edit message, and it'll open in a pop-up where I have more text editor opportunities, text editor functionalities to be able to continue editing my message in a way that's kind of clearly continuing, because this edit message thing has caused a bit of scratching heads in the user testing and interviews. So I would like that to be really smooth. I want it to be that when I click edit message, this part kind of grays out. The designer didn't really design this part, so I have to figure it out myself. I want it to kind of gray out or have something over the top of it, or I don't know what, but like some way of saying you are now in edit message mode. You're not in the small field anymore. So that's something to think about and work out. Anyway, I wanted to show you the fix first that I was talking about yesterday. So I said yesterday I had a problem with the section object that when switching between a section that has messages, so that the messages output of the object has some data that's coming out. If we switch to a section that has no messages, because the object messages value is empty, the object node has a bug in Noodle where it doesn't clear the output, the messages output. It makes the messages output, it just leaves the messages output the way it was last found. So you'll still find the messages from section 1, even though you've switched to section 2 and all the other connections have outputted the right data, the section 2 data, because when there is data, it takes over what's in the connection. When there's no data in the object node, for some reason it doesn't take over what's in that section. So I needed to fix that, so I put a message in the Noodle Discord and thought about myself, maybe I could use a function, because like I've said many times before, Noodle nodes, like object nodes or query nodes, they are just a packaged version of what you can do in JavaScript in Noodle with Noodle objects and methods. So I'll show you what I did for my function. So the Noodle method is we have the Noodle object, like the kind of master object that controls all the Noodle stuff that we can do in Noodle, like inputs and, well, not inputs, sorry, that's script, but the object, the arrays, the variables, they all depend on this Noodle main object, which has a method. No, it's not a method, is it? It's an object. It's the value of that, which is object, or it's an object within that Noodle framework called object, where we can apply a method then to get a particular object and return that. So I'm assigning that operation to, I'm assigning that thing to get the object that I'm inputting, the section object. I'm assigning it to a variable called object. And then I'm assigning all of the outputs to object dot, and then whatever the value is whatever the key is for the value I'm looking for. So this way I can say, and this was Kotta from the Noodle team who suggested this more elegant way of writing the code. We can say, we can kind of put in an OR operator that will say either there is something here, either there is messages in the object, or if there's not, then we put an empty array. And I did it for all of them just in case, because you never know when one section might not have an end date because you didn't want to set an end date. It was just a fun section, and it'll get stuck with the end date of the previous object. So until this bug is fixed, I'm probably going to start doing this with all objects. And it's a good example of what I keep talking about with Noodle, which is you shouldn't be scared of the code that's behind Noodle, because even when you need to code, it's still making it really easy for you. It's still just little snippets of code. It's not like a whole script or like a whole function that you have to write with lots of different pathways and parameters and whatever. and functions and methods. It's really just the very basic things of like assigning values from objects to variables and then making them into outputs. So it's not really, I wouldn't say it's anything scary. So this works because you'll see I'll pin the messages output. So if I go from this one, which has 3 messages, to this one, then it correctly outputs an empty array because I've told it if you can't find that key that you're looking for, the messages key, then just output an empty array. That's the default backup option. So that works great. Happy days. That's fixed. So it means we can move on to something else and actually test the different sections. So I can now create a section and create messages. I can't in a section. I can't delete messages. I can't delete sections or anything like that. But that'll come later, and that won't be a huge deal. We'll get to that. We already have the menu set up. I would like the edit message option to take you to the pop-up that I'm trying to work on at the moment. So I don't want it to like pull this message into here, because if this was like a complex message with images or embedded videos or something like that, then we would want it to automatically open in the pop-up. So I'll just have all messages, no matter how long, open in the pop-up, I think. That's good. So yeah, next step is I'm typing a message, and I want that message to go edit message into the pop-up here. So first, maybe we need to finish the pop-up. Take a look at that. Bit of a mess. Let's refresh that page. So yeah, the pop-up is a mess. Where did I put it? Yeah, so it has several different parts. It was tricky to set up, but it was Anders who helped me set this up, I think, or Eric in the Noodle team. So we have a drag element. This is a Noodle node, or I wonder, was it something I had to install, or is it just a, yeah, logic and utilities. It was just a general utility, the drag node. When we put in a drag node, it becomes a parent group of something else. So I've put the group in there and made it have fixed width so that I can actually see the draggable place. So it has a draggable area all around it. And in theory, anywhere we click, we'll be able to drag. And the header that's here, for some reason, when I open it, it collapses every time, and I can't remember why it does that. And like when I expand the group, the header suddenly appears. Not 100% sure why that happens. It's probably a bug. So I'll not deal with that straight away. Let's just say every time we're going to test it here in development, we're going to do the dragging thing. The dragging thing, I don't remember how I did that. Oh yeah, but yeah. So it was with custom CSS style. Resize both means that the box can be resized vertically and horizontally. I wanted this so that when a teacher is looking at their message list and they want to do a message edit, that they can theoretically move this around to see something, because it really annoys me when I'm trying to type a reply to somebody and I can't see what I'm replying to. But as well, I can't make this bottom part, I could make it expandable and make that into the text editor, but then it kind of blocks, like the bottom part would block certain messages because it would expand up, and or it would take up too much of the page by nature, just of wanting to have that large area to edit. So I can have that large area if I have this pop up by doing this. Then I have lots of space to type. That's great. And then if I forget, oh, what was that part of the message I forgot, then I can kind of drag it down to the minimum size, put it to the side, and then see the message and come back to this, open it up again. So I like this, and I think I would like to use this as a LearnBook user. So yeah, it might be something to do with one of these CSS values that might be causing me to have problems with my header. It doesn't have any values. Well, we'll see. Not exactly sure what the problem is. But so at the moment, the header is the draggable part. switch drag on and off. Oh yeah, it was if you're hovering over it, it makes it draggable. And if you're not hovering over the header, then it stops making it drag. Oh yes, I remember why I did that. It didn't when the whole thing was draggable, it didn't really work. It needed to be that there was like one part that's draggable and the rest of it not, because I'm going to put buttons and fields and things in here following the designs the designer made. So it doesn't really work if I'm like clicking fields and then it's like dragging the thing around. I think that was causing a lot of problems. And so what I did was to put in the draggable part, even though the whole thing is draggable, only when you hover over the header that we enable the drag group. Otherwise it's disabled, it's just a regular group. So this was an Anders idea, I think, to have the switching drag on and off switch. So when it's hovered, it can be dragged. When it's not hovered, you can't drag the rest of the group. That was just a part of the design that I made, but I think that's useful for anybody. So I'll put the title of the pop-up in here. I can't remember what it was in the designs. Let's have ta-da! So I've replaced this with TinyMCE, so I don't need these bits anymore. But I would like to have this add media file part and the publish and cancel buttons. So maybe put some of that stuff in first. Header text. Maybe have a port here just in case we want to reuse this somewhere else. So header text input goes here. Text. I'm gonna constrain it, center it. Okay. And we're gonna make it what style? Kind of the, yeah, that's like the title style, isn't it? Brown title large style. It's maybe a bit too big. Pop up. Shouldn't have like a million different font sizes everywhere, I know, but for now we'll leave it. Stuck. Okie dokie. Oh, okay, so that box actually doesn't have any content at the beginning, and that's what makes it a little bit angry. Wonder it's maybe because it's sort of working with hovering. I don't know, maybe this just doesn't like this hovering thing. What if we do like that? And then we make it like a fixed height. The width 100% could be height of 60 pixels. Yeah, it's not bad. It's a nice height. I don't know why I made this 20%. What the heck? Make it content height? Yeah, that's better. Nice. Oh no, I can't drag it anymore. I need to make this text not clickable. How would I do that? Oh, can you help me? I'll tell you. Can you please give me some CSS to make text not clickable so it can't be highlighted? It doesn't trigger mouse cursor. Winter events none. Oh yeah, that's the one I want. Okay, that all sounds nice. Up chunk there. Put it in our CSS style. Way. And noise. Yeah, so now I can click and drag anywhere. I had a shadow on this group before. Where the heck did it go? I was sure I had a shadow on this group. Yeah, box shadow. Why is it not giving me a box shadow anymore? I did this because ChatGPT and I had a conversation about how I've got things that are like popover menus and I've got a draggable group and pop-ups. How do I make them look, coherent? Because again, I have the designs in Figma. I showed you here, but in the designs of the designer, she imagined it as a pop-up with a modal, like blocks out the screen. And like I said, I don't like that personally. Just as a user, I like to be able to see what's happening behind the pop-up in case I've forgotten something. So I put in a box shadow, and I don't know. Oh, it is showing up. Look, well there it is. Whoa, hold on a second. Why was that not there a minute ago? Okay, refresh. Right, we agree. I'm not going crazy. There is no box shadow. And then when I went into the box, edited it, no, box group, edited it there, and then it appears. So it's like it's not appearing. Maybe I know why. Maybe it's because we need to have a CSS definition up here. And we're going to say that box paste. What the? I've lost it all. Lost it all. Yes, I have. Edit parameter, maybe. Sometimes the undos don't work in CSS style. Suck, because then I would lose my. Come on. Yeah, no, suck. It's lost forever. Okay. So we want to make this. Why is it not like that? The class box. Do not use empty rule set. So yeah, right. For CSS. Let's just ask ChatGPT if it can pump me out a nice one again. Can you please make me a nice box shadow for a floating up modal that can be dragged and resized, that is white background on top of a white dash. Subtle yet distinct shadow. You see, these are the kind of things that I would never be able to do because I'm not at all a CSS expert. And so asking ChatGPT and having this beautiful okay, a corner radius, but it's having this beautiful CSS pumped out in front of my eyes just for me to go and copy and paste when I'm in trouble, and I've accidentally deleted all my oh look, you get a little color picker there too, that's cool. Bravo Noodle. So this is definitely box. Yes it is. Probably should have given it a more specific name, but whatever. For now that'll do. So CSS definition is good. Let's see if it applies. Not. Still not. What am I doing wrong? Why does this app hate me? It'd be a, no, it's a dot, it's a class, right? We give it a class. Class is called box. So we've targeted that class, and we've given it border radius and Maybe we need to call it something more specific. Call it drag box container. Very specific. No, still. Thing doesn't like me. And actually, it's got worse because I can't see my. Oh yeah, because my resizable thing is gone as well. Oops. What was it? Resizable. Nope. Resize. Both. Isn't it? Oh. Why did I have to lose all of my CSS? There's not an easy way to get it back. Okay, ChatGPT help. Yeah, resize both. Okay, maybe we needed the overflow as well that I had in there before. I was like, I don't know what that means, and now I do. But it's important. Same definition, that's true. Okay. Supposed to show me a resize thing in the bottom corner there. But it seems like none of the rules are being applied here. So the problem is something to do with the selection of this. Let's try to put it directly in the box and see, just to eliminate the possibility that I'm doing something really silly. Yeah, there. Look, it's got the box shadow. Not resizable though. I can just leave it. Oh no. Gone again. When I go into it, I think I'm gonna have to leave this one for now because it's gotta be a bug. When I go into it and I go out of it, then I suddenly get everything that I've ever wanted. So my resize thing isn't working anymore, which is annoying. Okay, anyway, the challenge was to get this message to go in here and then for this to take over from this. So let's figure that out. When we click on the menu in view lesson in bottom message bar, the mess, I have to clean this up. Context menu comes up. If it's open editor, we open editor. There's an output called on. When did I add that? The bottom. Oh, okay, switches it on. Okay, that switches on. Yeah, switches on the. It mounts the group. Could be one of the problems as well that it's not mounted on page load, and so the CSS doesn't apply immediately or something like that. Figure that out later. So it's gonna go okay, and then up. And so at this point, this is where we need to transfer the message object, the text, out here. So message text needs to go out. And then this bottom bar, I guess what it could do is actually disappear. The easiest thing, we could actually unmount the bottom bar when this is mounted. So we could, that would be a simple solution. So we'll just use an inverter and say that when is mounted, when this is true, and we're mounting the group, then we unmount this. So mounted by default. The inverter is going to unmount it. Yeah, nice. That's even better because then we see like the full, like a full screen, full height kind of view of the messages that I might need to know about. Finish this task off. So that's good. And then we want to output the message and put it in here. Maybe as a component object. Because when I create a message from the bottom message bar, I create a new message. I get this whole thing here. So actually when I said this is a mess, I need to actually package this up because I'm going to use it outside as well. I need to turn this into a, yeah, I need to turn this into a reusable component, but not the whole thing because this part is funneling the click of the menu somewhere. So really it's when send message is clicked, this part needs to, yeah, this part needs to run from here on. So actually this can just kind of go out of the way a little bit. This part that I'm componentize. Yeah, because it's like this is the part where it checks is there really content in there or not, and what are the messages currently in this section, etc., etc. All that's the same process in the pop-up as it is here. We're going to extract the component. I can't remember if I showed that already yet. I think I did. I didn't even know it existed for a while. Like it was in one of the updates. It just blew my mind. It means that all of these will become a reusable component under the current place in your hierarchy. So you can move it around more, a bit more useful. And it'll just be called extracted components. So we need to change it first to make it into a reusable name. So I'm going to call this a new section message. And then we're going to put this in probably view lesson. Yeah, I'll put it up at the top level of view lesson as a logic component. So then that works there. And it will also work here. Yeah. Or inside the group, I guess. Perfect. Outside the group because it's gonna have buttons. Okay, so it's gonna have a button bar. Buttons. In the horizontal layouts. Centered. More centered. Look like this. So maybe it should be fully centered and we just put that 20 pixel gap in there. Let's make them fully centered with a 20 pixel horizontal gap. This should be precisely 146 width. But I think that's already in our style variant. Green button. What do I need? A green button and a gray button. So first one is gray button. Yeah. Second one is green button. Yeah. And then this needs to have a slightly wider minimum width. Drag and drop resize group. Give it a min width of 300 pixels. 400 pixels. Hmm. 340. Most modern phones should be able to see things at 340 width, so I'd argue that that's okay. We should put a little padding in there as well, actually, shouldn't we? It's not very pretty at the moment. 20 pixel padding on the sides. It's looking a bit better. Well, not super, not bad. This a bit higher. Like 80 pixels. Okay, starting to look a bit acceptable. Say, I'm not an expert in this. So the buttons are cancel and publish. I don't know about the wording of publish. Going into English, it doesn't sound very good. Maybe send. Send is a bit more universal, isn't it? Okay, so we've got our bottom bar buttons, and I think there's actually, yeah, there's a line above it as well, so we'll add a little line up here at 30 pixels height, 30 pixels padding. Put a little line, and this should be padding at the bottom there as well. 30 pixels padding, isn't that nice and orderly? And at the top of that will be a line. One. And then above it will be also padding of about 20. Put this in a group maybe. Group. Make it a bit tidier, because then I can put 20 pixels at the bottom. At least that little line going, and then probably top. I think from where the title is, it already looks. I'll come back to that later. So that's looking better, and we wanted to take the message out of the bottom bar before it inverts and hides it. So let's take that into an component object or an object? We need it to be a component object. No, because the TinyMC editor is right here. So we can just make it an object with the message text. This is create, no, what are we going to call this? Edited message. And we can take the message text and fill that object at all times. So it's always filled by the bottom bar. And then when we get into this group, it's going to make message text the initial content. And then when we make a message, it's going to take this content. No, it's going to take this content. Going to use that as text. And then maybe actually even when we're clicking on, maybe when we're clicking on the message send in the bottom bar, we could use that same object in the same create section message part, but maybe not for now. I'm worried that there's going to be some sort of overlap between what's in the TinyMCE and what's in the bottom bar, and like you're going to send one message and then that'll get stuck for the next message or something like that. So let's say when that's done, anyway, when that's done, we have to reset the TinyMCE content when it's created, and then I guess switch this off so that that gets hidden, and then the bottom bar reappears again. And then if we hit the send button that triggers this, that'll throw an error if there's no text in there, in theory. And the cancel button is going to switch this off. So the cancel button will switch this off, and it will reset any content. Doesn't it? So better not click cancel if you're in the middle of writing something and then you're going to lose it. That'll be bad. But that should work in theory. Cool. Okay, so let's try it out. I don't want to send, I want to edit. Boo! Oh, nothing came out of message text. Did I forget to hook it up? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I'm proud of it. Mistakes. Okay, try that again. Try that again. Ta-da! Awesome! Please enter a message. Why is it saying that? This should feed that as well. Why is it not liking that? Got a text. Text. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. There's two inputs. Why are there two inputs there? Text and HTML content. Hold on. Go back in here. Why are there text and HTML content? Okay. That away. It's just a mistake, I think. We want to connect up that to that to that to that. Text goes in there. Yes, yes, yes. And so then we can send. Yay! Oh, that's good. I like it when things work out simply. I don't have to finish a video saying, oh no, there's bugs, I better go and check with the Noodle guys. No, not this time, guys. Not this time. Fuckers. Oh. Okay, good. Whew. Whew. Okay, good. That was nice. That was emotional. So I'll leave it here for today and say thanks for watching and see you guys in